You found Michigan's retirement coach, Mike Douglas.
Glad to have you here with Michigan's retirement coach, certified financial planner, Mike Douglas. If you have questions about your retirement plan, you can start the conversation anytime by visiting us at michigansretirementcoach.com. Also, click on the links we've got posted in the show notes if that's more convenient. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Just search Michigan's Retirement Coach on YouTube and you can find us there. How much basketball have we talked about on this podcast? We talk football.
Yeah. I don't think we talk a lot of basketball.
Haven't talked a lot about
I love basketball.
You
I
do?
coach basketball. My
There you
kids
go.
play basketball.
All right. So why don't we talk more basketball? Coach Douglas.
But ironically, my kids' football team bought me this Coach
that wasn't
Douglas
for basketball coaching.
from our banquet last night. Yeah.
I really know very little about NBA, but it doesn't matter how little you know about it. There are just some names, LeBron.
It transcends the sport.
LeBron has become, because LeBron's like literally acted in movies.
Yeah.
He is a brand.
He's Space Jam 2.
Space Jam 2.
Yeah. Not as good as Space Jam 1.
Well, I mean, are we going to talk about GOATs? I was having a conversation with somebody about like GOATs. I was like, is LeBron the greatest of all times? And then as I said it, I was like, don't come for me, Jordan fans. Don't come for me.
Then don't say it.
Right? How dare I? Rude. I was also thinking to myself, this story I wanted to ask you about. He's getting ready to turn 40. And in my head, which makes sense because when you're a professional athlete, how many professional athletes go into their 40s? Your body just changes. It's fine. Just
Kickers
is what
and
it
Tom
is.
Brady. That's it.
Right. That's it.
Kickers and Tom Brady.
But I was just thinking to myself, gosh, he's only 40 because we've been talking about he's been such a relevant name for decades. I mean, it's been like 20 years, right, that he's been playing in the NBA. The thing about it is he's smart. This is where his longevity comes from. Keeping up with younger and stronger players in the league, he has devoted much time, attention, and money to his health regimen. This includes a team of experts and advanced treatments like hyperbaric therapy and cryotherapy. If you're wondering what the heck that is, you got to talk to some professional athletes because this is not for the amateur. Have you ever, you like to hike and you're athletic. Do you do the cryotherapy and hyperbaric?
I do a ton of stuff like this.
You do?
Yep. I do. We do massage. I do cold plunge. I do sauna.
Cold plunge.
I haven't done hyperbaric, but part of the hyperbaric also helps them because they travel so much. They're on planes.
Is that to help with jet lag? Is that a thing that does that help?
It helps a lot. Helps get your blood oxygen levels to the right levels. So it's kind of like what they call blood doping, but like cyclists would do this where they go in these hyperbaric chambers and it helps them get their oxygen levels higher.
Okay.
But what it does just makes your body work more efficiently. It recovers faster. It pumps more white blood cells. It does all the good stuff you need. Well,
I guess when you're working with LeBron kind of money, the idea of, because these reports are saying that it costs him $1.5 million.
That's the difference in how LeBron and I do it. Right. So like he goes into a cryotherapy big room with all this stuff. I put a bunch of cold water and ice in a bucket and sit in it. Like that's like the difference. Right? So I'll fill my bathtub.
You're doing some 2024 version of the ice bucket challenge.
Yeah, I'm doing it on the cheap. Like now my gym has a good cold plunge and my gym has a good sauna.
Okay.
But if I'm not going to the gym, I'll just throw a bunch of cold water in our bathtub and jump in it for 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay.
I do not have cryotherapy at my house.
Keep it relative. King James himself was actually talking about it recently on Netflix's Starting Five and said this.
I've heard this crazy notion about how much money I spend on my body per year. And I kind of just chuckle. That is a number that I will not disclose. But more importantly, I think it's just the time.
You don't have to disclose it. You have so much money. $1.5 million. I mean, relatively speaking to everybody else, that would be like what? $1,500 a year spending on.
Yeah. And that doesn't include all the services that the Lakers provide for him. Like they have masseuses, they have team trainers, they have all that stuff that's there on site. So he gets the on-site stuff.
Yeah.
Then he gets his stuff. But I can tell you this. So LeBron and I are 1 year apart. And we came out at the same time. You know, he's from Ohio, I'm from Michigan. And so it was like that same time. He was on Sports Illustrated, as I was coming out of high school, going into his senior year, he was on Sports Illustrated, his games were on TV. Yeah. So it was a very relative thing. So as I see him playing basketball.
You're right there with him. You just know exactly everything that he's doing.
I'm like, I don't know how he does this because if I sneeze wrong, I get nervous about my back going out. But yet this guy's out there playing basketball with his son in the NBA
because
he just won an Olympic gold medal.
He has $1.5 million to spend surrounding himself with the best of the best in the world. Now, that's what he spends every year on his medical regime, health regime.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people that you talk with, that is what they have worked for 30 or 40 years to save for what's hopefully going to last them through 20 to 30, maybe 40 years of retirement. The whole lesson I want to talk about here is the idea of surrounding yourself with people to keep you performing at a high level as you get older in life, and the idea of working with somebody, particularly because, listen, we've talked about this before. If you do DIY, your idea of savings and investments, all that stuff in your working years, fine. A lot of people do it and do great. But when you get to retirement planning, it is such a different ball game. To continue on with the sports theme here.
Yeah.
I don't know how people, even the smartest people, even people that are like accountants and bankers, I don't know how you can go about planning for retirement by yourself anymore.
Yeah, it's really difficult. And the rules keep changing. There's evolution in the process and all the different things you have to do. And so just like he has a team of advisors around him, a good retirement plan has to have a team to help protect it. You have to have a financial investor. You have to have someone who's good and who does that for a living, who invests their time into investing your money. It's a good thing. You also need someone to handle your taxes, because taxes in retirement get kind of confusing when they start taxing your Social Security, raising your Medicare premiums, all these different things. And they bring in a term called provisional income, which you've never heard of before, but it's just an equation to tax more of your money. You need an estate plan that's built up appropriately, that where someone actually goes through and understands your family and doesn't just say, oh, you need a trust, you need a will, stamp, rinse and repeat, on to the next.
Right.
But someone who actually knows your whole situation. Yeah. And then you also need good risk management, whether that's insurances, life insurance, having someone look over your homeowners and your car, all that stuff, or just a matter of risk management in terms of, am I overly leveraged in my portfolio? Do I have too much in the market? Should I have more in cash in the bank? Whatever. That is how you build a good retirement plan. It's a comprehensive look. And unfortunately, most people, they have a guy over here for this and a guy over here for that, and that guy over here for that, and a lady over here for that. And they're all unrelated. And what ends up happening is you now are the CFO. You are the one who's in charge of. You have to be the point guard of your whole retirement plan, and you have to be the one to distribute the information to everybody across the board. That's one of the biggest things that we see as a frustration with a lot of our clients. They say, all right, well, I need this 1099 so I can get it on my tax guy. And then I just got my trust done. I need you and my trust guy to talk and try to get my beneficiaries. It's a whole production.
Yep.
So years ago, we had the Vision at Life plan to, you sit at one table and the professionals rotate around you. So rather than you running all over Michigan, wherever you live, rather than you running all over to get to your different professionals, you sit down and the professionals come to you and take care of it all in one place. So our dream was to put it all under one roof. And that's what we've been building at Life Plan Wealth. It's this model of, you sit down and we deal with your estate plan, because we do estate plans in-house. We do with your taxes, because we do tax returns, tax analysis strategies, bookkeeping for small businesses, all these things in one house. Then we do your investment plan and make sure that your investments match up. And then we do your risk management, looking at your insurances, all the different things. And what's great about it is it's the same professionals working on it. So if we update your will, we automatically update your investments. Okay. If we realize that you want more risk in your portfolio, we also make sure we have risk mitigation in other places. So it's all this partnership between it. Yeah. And I had a client who came through, and she specifically came to us, and as we're working through her planning, she said, well, I love it. My CPA and my financial advisor are in the same building. They work across the hall from each other. And I think it's a beautiful thing, because now they're both working together. And as she came in, she came to one of our workshops we were teaching, and she said, I can't do any Roth conversion this year because I sold a rental property, and I already owe $30,000 in taxes, and I can't stomach spending another $30,000. Sure. And I said, I get that. Let's look through your portfolio and still just do some analysis. Well, after about 7 minutes, I went through and I found losses in her portfolio that could offset her rental, and she wouldn't pay any taxes. I said, go ask your CPA if this is what you should do. And I said, but if you sell these mutual funds at a long-term capital loss, it'll offset this. Now, again, each tax situation is different and unique. So I'm not just telling everybody who's watching just to sell your long-term capital losses, because there are rules to it. But in her situation, we did some research and found that out. She goes to her CPA and says, should I sell these mutual funds at a loss to offset this real estate? He says, well, it would work, but I can't advise you do it. I'm not licensed to do it. You need to talk to your financial advisor. She goes across the hall to talk to the financial advisor and says, hey, should I sell these things for a tax strategy? He goes, I can't give you tax advice. I'm a financial advisor. And he goes, but what I'm telling you is that if you sell these, you sell them at a loss, and there's no reason ever to sell at a loss. But yet the tax thing would be a benefit.
Okay.
But he can't give that advice.
Right.
So she was frustrated, and she comes back and goes, they share a building. Like, why are they not working on the same page? I said, well, they're not the same company.
Right.
They just happen to share like a water cooler.
Right.
They're completely different companies.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have meetings. Like, these guys don't come across the hall to meet and talk about your portfolio and your strategy. They're separate companies that you just happen to find in the same building. So you got peace of mind. That was fool's gold.
But separate goals, separate mission statements, probably as companies go. I mean, it's like, well, that sounds great, but that's not what we do here, kind of thing.
Well, and being told by the one, I think that's true, but I can't tell you. You have to go across the hall and talk to somebody else.
They can't take that liability. Yeah.
They can't. They're not licensed to do it. I get it. Mm-hmm. So that's why we started a tax company.
Got it.
And we do tax returns and we do tax strategies. That's why we started an estate planning company, because we do those things in-house. Because you as the retiree, or you as the person who doesn't want to deal with this stuff anymore, should not have to become all of a sudden the financial guru and the point guard of your financial plan. Mm-hmm. You should be retired. You should be golfing. You should be doing the things you dreamt of doing, or repurposing into something else, all the while knowing that you can come to one meeting and over the course of an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, get all the crap done that you would need to get done.
Yeah.
And you can go back to living your life, rather than saying, I got a meeting here with this guy, and then I got to go to a meeting here with this lawyer. I hope they don't bill me for the hours, and I got to go meet my CPA. And nope, it's all done and taken care of under one roof. And that's the frustration people get. And that's, kind of relating back to LeBron's health. Right. Imagine, what's important to him is that he has his whole team there working together, and they all know what each other's doing, and they're all working in sync. Right.
Yep. Yep.
You can't do two different dehydrating exercises in the same day. Right. If you go in a sauna and it dehydrates you heavily, you can't also go do something else that's heavily dehydrating. You need to have counterbalance and need to make sure that your body's healthy. Mm-hmm. So he's got all these guys working together, and they work in sync with his diet, nutrition plan, and everything else.
Yep.
They need to all be in sync on the same page. And that's why the goal is to sit at one table and the professionals all come to you and work together on your stuff. That's a good retirement plan. And it's an investment into yourself. It's taking your future seriously and making sure that whoever is working on your plan, they take it seriously too. Yeah. And that they've invested the time, money, and energy into building a comprehensive firm that takes care of all these different positions.
I mean, all of this makes sense. And I think to anybody listening in or watching, it's like, yeah, that all sounds great. But there are a lot of people that may feel overwhelmed or intimidated. Listen, they're busy. A lot of people, especially if you have not yet retired, you are in the throes of your working years. It's another task. It's just one more thing to put on the to-do list to find somebody to help. There are so many people that have good intention. They're like, I got to do this. They never get around to getting somebody to help. What would you say to that person? How do you recommend people just getting started and going about things?
Well, it starts off with the conversation. You have to have, one of the hardest things is finding someone that you can trust.
Right.
Start out right there.
With your
it feels
life
like everybody's
savings.
selling you something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's selling you something, and you will get flyers in the mail. You'll get the telemarketing, you'll get the spam texts, all that crap trying to sell you something. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things why I love about podcasting in the space that is created. It gives you the ability to just learn and educate at your own comfort, and go back and rewatch and rewind and pause and take notes and download the YouTube transcript and do all that stuff. Mm-hmm. It gives you the ability to become educated and find out if you trust the person across from the screen. Yeah. Right. It's a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. That's why I love this ability to receive content like this. That's why I think it's good for most people to do some self-research before they ever let someone into their trust circle. Okay. Right. To take a look at your plan. And that's what we do at Michigan's Retirement Coach. People have been listening to us on the radio. They've seen us on TV. They watch the podcast. They meet with us. They do all the different stuff. So when they actually come to sit down and talk to us or call in and we have a chat, it's built on a relationship that's already been formed, and they have a confidence and trust. So number one, you need to find someone that you can trust, that you have confidence in, because you've heard enough legitimate content for you that it makes sense for your family. Yeah. You need to have that conversation. So if it's us, if you like how we talk, if you like how I go about things and you want to have this conversation, on our website, michigansretirementcoach.com, there's a button that says start your retirement roadmap today. Click that button. It lets us know you want to have a conversation, and we'll give you a call. We'll schedule a time to chat. We can jump on a Teams meeting, or you can come into the office, and we'll just help you understand and navigate through the educational process of retirement. Because when you're educated and informed, you're comfortable and you have more peace. And that's the bottom line. We just want to know that we're in the right place. And like you mentioned, Heather, if you're in the midst of it, you're working, you're grinding, you're doing these things, the last thing you have time for is this long-term planning, because I'm just trying to get through this week or this month or this year. I can't believe it's already middle of November. That blows my mind, right?
Every year.
How in the world am I supposed to think about 20 years from now or 10 years from now? Let someone else help you and walk you through it. And a guided tour is always much more successful than just staggering through the dark by yourself. So that's really what we're talking about. Click on that button, michigansretirementcoach.com. Click Start Your Retirement Roadmap today, and we'll make sure that you're set up for the future.
We also have links posted in the show notes for your convenience. You can just click there to head to our website, which is, again, michigansretirementcoach.com.
Thanks for listening to Michigan's Retirement Coach with Mike Douglas. To learn more, visit michigansretirementcoach.com.
Michael Douglas is an investment advisor representative of Stewards Wealth Planning, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Michael Douglas is licensed in your state, please call 517-323-7526. Stewards Wealth Planning, LLC is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Michael B. Douglas, NPN number 9650939.